What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Slick Gorilla podcast. It's a new year, it's 2023. We're doing things a little bit differently for this episode. We're up in Manchester. It's freezing, but we've come today to meet a new special guest, a little bit new to the brand, someone we've not worked with before, but it's got a really interesting background and a nice story. So introducing Mr. Dom Hadley.
Perfect. First of all, thank you so much for having me on board.
You're welcome. Welcome. Pleasure. How's it going?
Yeah, all good, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Excited to be here?
Excited to be here. Appreciate it a lot.
Good. So yeah, I kind of found you, I think, on Instagram probably about 6 months ago. Saw that you had some really cool content.
Appreciate it.
And then saw what you were doing. It was a little bit kind of different to the usual, let's say, content creation, should we say?
Yeah.
So do you want to kind of introduce yourself to the viewers and kind of give them a profile about what you do?
Yeah. So my name's Dom Hadley, 25 years old, fashion content creator, an entrepreneur. So I started with content creation on YouTube, and then from that I set up my own vintage company called Payday Vintage, and then I've got an clothing brand called Episodes Project, which I'm wearing right now, and I've also got a jewelry brand called Ariri.
Right, so that was a lot. Yeah, so a lot of tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah.
So how did you get started? What was the first thing you started doing in terms of like content creation?
It was actually YouTube. So in 2015, started my fashion YouTube channel called Payday Pickups.
2015?
2015, yeah, 7 years ago.
You're getting on to 8 years because we're in 2023.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 8 years in June it'll be, yeah.
Okay, so how did that start?
It was one of them where I was in, sixth form, and you have like a lot more free time. I always used to watch YouTube, like KSI, The Sidemen, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, we have so much free time when we're younger, especially when you're in sixth form, because you only do like, 3 hours a day some days. So I was like, I wanted to get into YouTube. Didn't really know what to do it on. My brother's a graphic designer, so at the start we did it together. And then I basically just bought a pair of like custom shoes on my Adidas, and then we decided to do a video on them.
My Adidas, I remember that actually.
It's like Nike ID, but
yeah, I'm kind of rewinding because that's a long time ago.
Long time ago.
What was YouTube then? Was it because now obviously it's huge? Mm-hmm. Was it? It was kind of a smaller thing then.
Yeah, it was very, very niche then. So like, I feel like it was only people who kind of like cared about the creators were into YouTube. A lot of people just still watch TV back then.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell anyone in school. Like when I did this, like I knew I'd be a laughing stock because it wasn't even the norm back then. So
you kind of took a risk.
Just took a risk. I thought, let's just do it. Didn't tell anyone, and then eventually everyone found out, and I was a laughing stock for a little bit, but obviously it worked out in the end.
How'd you handle that?
I just saw it as like, if I gave in, then I'd look like an idiot. So I thought I'll just carry on and just use it as like motivation to fuel me to keep going. Okay.
So 2015 YouTube. When was the kind of first like success? Was it like one set of video or was it grinding?
The first success I think for me was when I got sent something for free for the first time. Nice. I was kind of like, what? Like,
yeah,
I didn't know.
I'd take that as a success.
This was like before, like I say, influencing was a thing. This was like Facebook influencers and stuff like that. I remember a clothing brand reached out and they were like, we want to send you some clothes for you to do a video. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, to me, that was like insane.
If that happened to me, I'd be like, I'm the king of the world.
Yeah. And it was like a good way to like show everyone who was taking the piss, like, I've got something for free now, so you can't say anything.
I'm smashing it. Do you remember what it was and what the brand was?
It was a brand called Arrow, A-R-O. I'm not sure if they're still going anymore, but it was like within the first 6 months of starting the YouTube.
Really?
So
that's quite good, to be fair. I mean, I guess it was quite a while ago when it was more like kind of up and coming YouTube, but I think there's a lot of kind of channels now that take a few years to get started. What do you think the secrets were? Just grinding it out?
Yeah, I think consistency is definitely the most one. So like I stuck to like a weekly schedule and then eventually topped it to like 2 videos a week. But the starting bit is so hard. Like I think it took maybe a year and a half to only hit 1,000 subscribers.
Really?
So like the first 1,000's the hardest bit.
Okay. A year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half.
That's a lot of graft.
A lot of graft.
But I mean, initially that's minimum payback, really, isn't it?
Yeah, no pay or anything like that.
Because there's a rule, isn't it, where you don't get like ad revenue until like
it's I think it's 2,000 watch hours and then, or maybe 4,000 watch hours in a year and 1,000 subscribers.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's really not easy.
I remember the first page I was like 10p and I was like, yes.
I feel like you see tons of like channels and it kind of gives off the impression that it's like easy breezy, like anybody can do it. Mm-hmm. But that's a hard grind.
The hardest bit as well is the editing. Like the filming's not that bad. The filming's the fun part, but the editing.
Were you doing everything yourself?
Yeah, everything myself. Yeah.
Really?
So I started with my brother. He like edited like the intro and like the logo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he's 4 years above me. He wasn't really that much into fashion, and he's like a graphic design side. So he started like the first 4 videos, and then he just said, "Oh, you just have it."
Really?
Yeah.
So talk to me about kind of your interest with fashion. When did that start as well?
I think it was when we went into sixth form. So obviously after high school, sixth form, you have to wear your own clothes, don't you?
Yeah.
And obviously I was like, oh, I've got to wear some good garments from
Something
going to
decent.
school. So then I used to sell in school as well, like sell sweets and chocolate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I used to save a lot of money, go to charity shops and stuff like that, and just buy clothes. And then I also worked at Ralph Lauren, so I got
Nice.
a lot of good staff discounts. So
Okay.
that's when I got into fashion, I'd say, because I had to wear different outfits.
Okay, so with Ralph Lauren, what, flipping Ralph Lauren or?
Yeah, so it was the outlet. So every 3 months you get 50% discount. So I used to just sell all of it on Depop, eBay. So that's kind of how the reselling started as well.
Okay, so you've been doing it since day one.
Day one, yeah.
So did it start with eBay? Because I know like Depop and all the other sites, they're quite new. Did you start with eBay?
eBay first, yeah.
Okay.
And then onto Depop, yeah.
Right. Okay. So what? How old were you then?
I would have been 16, 17.
17. Okay. So how much were you kind of making from that kind of little hustle?
So the sweets was the most, to be fair. The sweets in school I made like $8,000.
Okay.
So I saved
8 grand.
8 grand
From sweets.
Yeah, sweets and chocolate in school. My school was big. That's used to sell like 80 chocolate bars a day and stuff like that.
Really?
So that's where like the money side came.
What, just like Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka, basically. And then working at Ralph, that was like amazing. I mean, you weren't allowed to sell on the side. Like I could have got sacked.
Yeah.
But you could get 50% off outlet prices. So sometimes you could get like a suit. I remember I got a 3-piece suit one time.
50% off for 50%.
Yeah. So it was like 50 quid for a 3-piece suit and sold it for like £300.
Wow. That's mad. And then what was the trends back then? Because obviously now we're fast forward 8 years.
Trends
going
back then was Ralph Lauren and Tommy were like the two biggest brands at the time.
Really?
Yeah, at the time.
Like polo jobs.
Polo jobs and the
that
big
people with
Tommy
their collar.
flags fell out.
Really?
Yeah.
God, that seems like miles back, doesn't it? Really? Oof. I cringe to think about it, actually. So then obviously that kind of just, you grinded it out on YouTube. When did like social media come into things?
So I think everyone at the time kind of had an Instagram, didn't they, as well? So I didn't see it as like a place to make money. It was just, posting my stuff, my fit pics and stuff like that while I was doing my YouTube channel. The YouTube channel was the main thing. And then I went to university, and that's when I was still just buying clothes from like charity shops and selling them because I needed money at uni because I was so poor.
Yeah. Which uni did you go to?
I went to Uni of Leeds.
Okay. I'm from Leeds.
From Leeds?
Yeah.
Way?
So I know a little bit about that.
Oh, mate, I loved it.
Really?
Best, mate. One of the best 4 years of my life.
It is a decent city. It's a fun city.
Good night
A
out.
lot of interesting folk. I feel like a lot of people student-wise come in from other cities and you get a big, nice mix within Leeds, especially on the student scene.
Yes.
Down Headingley.
It's like 80,000 students.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's
Hyde
a lot.
Park
It's got
as
a
well.
lot more now. What do you feel the kind of style was while you were at uni? What was the trends?
Defo vintage clothing, I think, because obviously you don't have as much disposable income.
Yeah.
So I realised there was obviously a lot of those like weigh and pay kilo sales. So I used to buy some of my own clothes there, use them on the videos, and then I can sell them straight after. So it's a good way to then make content as well as then sell it to my followers.
Cycle it on.
Yeah.
And would you think there was a lot of kind of students doing the same thing as you?
I think there was a bit on the side, but nothing to like the scale. Like that was like my main income when I was at uni.
Okay. And then in terms of vintage, were you looking at kind of really like brand stuff, or was it kind of just how the piece looked?
Branded was the ones that were easy to sell.
Okay.
But obviously if you can style it in a way, you can make something that's even cheaper, that's non-branded, and sell it. But easily you just look for like Nike, Tommy, Ralph, Nautica, all those brands with like a big spell out. A sweatshirt especially, or a shirt would always be the best sellers.
Okay. And do you think, has that changed today, or?
The brands definitely have changed. Like Tommy, Ralph has dropped off a bit, and then new like Nike is just the main one, and obviously more designer stuff like Stoney that you're wearing.
Oh, this little job.
Stoney job.
Yeah.
So I say it's definitely changed, and then a lot of workwear, so like Carhartt now, Dickies, all stuff that's like kind of like high quality clothing.
All right. And then in terms of vintage in Leeds, I only really know one store. I think it's called Blue Rinse.
Yeah, Blue
You know
Rinse,
that one, right?
yeah.
And then is it Best?
Best, that's the best one.
Okay, yeah.
The
Because I've
best
seen
one.
Best recently on social.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of knew of them. But obviously being from Leeds, I knew
Yeah.
about Blue Rinse. Any others?
In Leeds, there's that Blue Collar Boys, which is a new one.
Okay.
They've obviously got Pop Boutique, but that's a bit of a chain one.
Okay.
I'd say Best is still the best one.
Yeah.
And then there's like a little one which you can get good steals. It's called Ryan's Vintage. It's like he's about 70, but
really?
he knew I
like an OG.
yeah, like an OG, and he
Nice.
knew I used to resell, so he always used to give me like a bulk discount.
Yeah. Shout out to Ryan.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan.
I'm guessing obviously you yourself is one kind of online social kind of vintage. Any other guys that are doing it as well on social?
And so we've got some competitors, but the good thing about the vintage is it's quite a nice close knit community. Like everyone does help each other out, so
It's positive.
positive. Yeah, so we've got like vintage threads, true store. Rick's Retro, he's probably one of the main ones that everyone knows. He's the reason I'd say I got into doing vintage as well.
Okay.
Obviously, when you're in America, you got stuff like Round 2 with Sean Wotherspoon and stuff like that.
Okay, nice. Talk to me about kind of present day. Obviously, there's so many different brands, emergent brands now, especially in the north as well, which I think is really, really positive because going back maybe like 10 years, everything was down south.
Yeah,
now it's looking like it's flipping, which I think is really good. What do you think the top 5 brands are this year that are going to blow up?
That are going to blow up? I'm going to have to plug my own brand here.
Go ahead.
Episodes project this year, I think it's going to get big.
Yeah.
A lot of the Manchester brands are getting massive. So I don't know if you've heard of Clint's.
Yeah, I've heard of Clint's.
Like, he'll be massive. Like, a good thing that separates him is he does footwear as well, which I think footwear is a completely different ball game.
Yeah,
and he's killed
massively,
it with that.
Yeah.
You might have heard of Drama Core. They're Manchester based as well.
Oh, they're Manchester based as well. Okay.
DeSanzi Studio is another Manchester based one.
Not heard of that one.
He's like a really good designer. I feel like if he had more business mind, he could get it bigger.
Okay.
And there's another brand. He actually just opened a shop in Leeds called Glory Days.
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
Shout out Glory Days.
Shout out Glory Days.
Yeah, I think I came across them on Instagram.
He's so talented.
Is it Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie.
That guy? Yeah, he looks super talented. I bought some pieces straight away. I took to Vegas with me. Really, really nice pieces and like really respectable pricing.
Yeah, literally.
That's the number one
for the
thing,
craftsmanship.
Yeah, that I noticed because I was like, there's a lot of brands out there start up and they'll immediately everything's like 100 quid and over. But this guy Charlie, Glory Days, I think he was starting at like 30 quid.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa, really respectable. Definitely want to try it.
Exactly, the band to your name.
Yeah. And he did my name.
He
did my name.
So
I was like, that's mad. And it's only £30. I was like, really respectable. And like you said, he's opening his own shop in the Corn Exchange.
Yeah, because we collabed on a piece. I did like a charity challenge.
Or is it?
I thrifted like a bed sheet.
Okay.
It was £3, and then he turned it into like carpenter jacket, and we sold it for 110 quid.
Really?
In 5 seconds it sold.
Shout out Charlie, man.
Shout out
Charlie.
Good guy.
Good guy. Like, give me a call. Sponsor me.
Get him on the podcast.
Yeah, I would love to be honest. Yeah. Like, actually, now saying that, yeah, we'll try and make that happen 100%. So, yeah, they're who you think are set to blow up. I want to talk about sneakers quickly because obviously sneakers are just a massive thing in terms of street style, urban fashion, and etc. What do you think the top 5 sneakers are right now?
Right, I think New Balance are absolutely killing it. It's like they're just smashing it. So they've got a new model, the 1906. They brought out like a protection pack version as well.
The thing is, they've got so many models.
They've got
like,
so many models.
Shoot numbers to it, I'm just like, I don't know which one is which now.
Yeah, but if people are getting into it, I think still Air Forces, they're still my favourite silhouette. Jordan 4s and Jordan 1s, obviously the both main ones.
What is it with Air Forces?
Do you not like them?
I like them because I remember I had a pair, like, we were talking like 15 years ago, and then they kind of went so quiet, and now it's just like...
I know that they're not even, you can't get them for less than £100 anymore.
Yeah, I think when I got mine, it's like 60
quid. Yeah. When sneakers were actually cheap.
Yeah. When you went Foot Locker, you could get stuff.
£100 like the norm now.
Yeah, you didn't have to do a drop. Nothing. You just walked in.
It's because of all the customizers.
That's mad. So what? Air Forces are just... You just become...
I think it's because they fit with every single style. So that's why I think people... It's like a first basic shoe which goes with everything.
Yeah. And it's interesting because it's not just the male version,
it's
the female version as well. Talk to me, what's your thoughts about kind of the female link to kind of street culture? Because there's a lot of kind of sneaker girls at the moment. What's your thoughts?
I think it's good, to be fair. I think there's a lot of more emerging like female talent, and that a lot of girls now wear a lot of boys' clothing, which I think is sick to see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit unfair. We can't wear as many girl clothes.
I mean, you could if you want.
Yeah, you can. But yeah,
I do think I agree with you. It's kind of switching it up. They get to wear guys' clothes. It looks quite cool, to be fair.
I think, yeah.
Where do you think the main influences come from nowadays? Do you think it's still from the US or is it coming from different sources?
Yeah, I'd say obviously music artists definitely.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of like brands, for example, like Trap Star, even like Drama Call. That's another one because H wore it, and then now you see it a lot in like the streetwear culture. I'd say America first before the UK, and then in terms of like silhouettes and cuts, so you can say like Scandinavian as well as like Asian fashion as well.
Yeah. One I forgot to mention is it Cortez?
Oh yeah, Cortez, yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of like the products they make, but their marketing, they've absolutely smashed that. They're the biggest brand, I'd say, in terms of marketing style and like the community he's built. Like he had Drake wearing his jacket, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, how?
When I saw that, I was like, that's a bit mad. And I think he was in a room with, I think, Dave. And
Dave. Yeah, and maybe he won an award, didn't he? A BBC one.
Yeah.
Like, was he part of the song?
And the craziest thing, he was like the main part of the picture, and they just looked like two just average guys. And then when I looked at it, I was like, how's he done that?
And like he even did like a free T-shirt thing in, was it Nigeria, wasn't it? And he had,
Really?
And he had like thousands of people there. To have your brand in Nigeria and that many people come to see it is like insane.
Yeah.
And they don't pay for marketing.
No, that's the craziest
Yeah.
thing. He's just smashing it, and it's kind of all like organic. Natural.
Yeah.
I don't know what the trick is.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it, to be fair.
I wish I knew.
Yeah, I wish I knew.
He needs to write a book, to be fair. Let's talk a bit more about you in terms of your own style. Kind of describe it to us.
I'd say it's mainly vintage, like vintage streetwear. But then I dabble into a load of different styles. I always like to be experimental with my fashion. So I usually go off like finding a piece and then building an outfit around that.
Okay.
But I love like standout pieces like leather jackets, like Averex, Marlborough,
Okay.
stuff like that.
So it's got to be kind of something kind of that stands out.
Yeah, I need a popping piece like an outfit.
Okay, nice. What do you think the 3 items that you couldn't live without or you would never sell?
I've actually brought them with me.
Oh, you've got some examples.
Got some examples. We'll start with the trainers.
Bring them out.
So these are like my all-time grail, Sean Wotherspoons.
Okay. I remember these as Air Max, what? I can't remember.
It's Air Max 97
Right.
and then the Air Max 1 sole.
Okay.
So it's like combined of 2 shoes. The first ever corduroy trainer.
So there's a corduroy.
Yeah, corduroy.
Let me have a look. How much are we talking?
To be fair, my girlfriend actually got me them for like my birthday, so that's what made it even better.
Really?
Yeah.
But could you get these in a shop?
Yeah,
the
brand new
time?
they'd be about. Oh, you couldn't get them on a shop. It was like online on a drop.
Only like drop only.
But like now in a shop they'd be about 1,000.
Really? $1,000? Man, crazy. They are cool. I don't know if I could pull them off, to be honest. Probably more kind of your style, isn't it?
Perfect for the summer. Yeah, and as well like Sean Wotherspoon with round 2.
And do you wear those?
Yeah, for summer though, not really in winter time because I don't want to get them wrecked. But yeah.
So where are you wearing those? That's the thing. Because I imagine in summertime you got a drink in your hand, but if they're worth $1,000, I won't want to drop anything on them.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear them on a night out. I'll tell you that. I'd wear them, say if it was just like a casual drink or something like that.
Keep them safe.
Going out in the daytime shooting, going around the shops.
Nice.
Like that.
Yeah, they're cool though. They're like super unique. I can see why a guy like you might rock them. All right, so that's the shoe. What else have we got?
Second, and this is what I was on about where I said about the standout jacket.
All right, yeah.
So this piece, the Marlborough, like the quality of these pieces back then is just insane. Like if that was LV, it would easily be like $2,000.
More than that.
More than that, probably.
I'd say like 6.
Like that Palace Gucci one, that was like $8,000. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that was peas.
And like so super heavyweight.
And what, that was a vintage pickup as well.
I got this on Facebook Marketplace for
Really?
50 quid from like an 80-year-old.
Really?
Said he used to ride his motorbike wearing it.
How long have you had that?
I've had that for 3 years now.
Do you think you could now, today, pick that up on Facebook Marketplace for 50 quid?
No, never.
Nah.
I've seen it online. It's like 300 now.
Really?
So people have offered, but it's just the perfect size, no stains whatsoever.
And just fits you.
Yeah,
like
fits
super,
me
super
too
nice.
well.
It's kind of like they don't make them like they used to kind of thing.
Never.
Because I don't even think you can get Marlboro on something nowadays. Because I think it's probably not like
Oh yeah,
allowed.
yeah. It's not allowed.
That's super cool though. So 50 quid, bargain of the century.
Bargain. So I've got the exact one in white as well.
Never sell it, no?
Never sell it now.
No.
I'm thinking of like maybe like renting out my studio so then influencers can use it. And then if they
Okay.
tag us but they can't, I'm not selling it.
Nice idea. Nice idea. Okay, have you got anything else,
And
Jaws?
the final one, this was the first piece from like our new clothing brand episodes. And this was like the first time we did tapestry. So these are like made from like rugs and then they turn them into clothing. So this is Fight Club.
Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt, yeah.
Wow, that's mad.
One of my favourite
I remember
films.
that, actually. That's crazy.
So yeah, with episodes, we basically realised that we know how to make clothes, but we're not that talented at designing. So with episodes project, there's so many talented graphic designers, but they don't know how to make clothes.
Yeah.
So we basically give them a platform. So the guy in Brazil designed this, we gave him the brief, and then we make the clothes, and then he gets a commission per sale.
That's crazy.
So each one's a new episode. So that was episode 1, and then this one's episode 3.
Nice concept though.
Thank you.
Super, super different. Because I think, from my view, it's kind of like, it's very easy to start a brand in terms of like just kind of the basics.
Yeah.
So there's a million blanks out there that you can print on. You only need kind of one design. But I think to do something like what you're doing
Thank you.
is a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Completely. So kind of talk to us about that. What was the idea? How did that come about?
So when you're starting a brand, I feel like nowadays, because it's so competitive, it used to be you could just slap a logo on a t-shirt, but nowadays you have to kind of stand out. So we wanted our first product to be something insane. I had an old clothing brand as well. I don't know if you ever heard. I had Ultra Pleats as well.
No.
But I got basically that brand got sued.
Really?
Yeah, I got cease and desist.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah, so I got sued by a brand in Selfridges.
Really?
Yeah.
But can you talk about it?
Yeah, I can. I can't say the brand, but basically, the pleated trousers. This other brand which I got inspired from, theirs are like £350.
Okay.
So I basically made like a £50 version. It's like I was like the Aldi version,
Okay.
basically.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah. I'd already checked like they hadn't got trademarks or anything like that beforehand, and then basically I got a cease and desist after like 6 months. It was going really well.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I sold over 1,000 pairs in the first 6 months.
Really? I mean, so you were like killing
So
it.
it was doing, yeah, so that's why it was, and then I got like a fat 80-page document.
I mean, what was going through your mind when you got that 80-page document?
Mate, I was 23 at the time, and it said like, you need to give us all your stock, all your profits. We're gonna burn all the stock.
What?
We're gonna take all your money.
Seriously?
Like, you got 2 weeks to respond. I was thinking, oh my
Mate,
god,
I'd been sweating.
Like they'd done all the photo comparisons with theirs.
Seriously?
Yeah, and but they said they owned a patent. I was like, you don't. And then I thought I'll try and fight the case. So I paid for a solicitor, made a full presentation. Because like the thing that was even worse is like Boohoo were doing it, ASOS were doing it, Zara were doing it, Manet Devoir.
Which they do.
Which they do. So I obviously sent that presentation over, and they just still like basically ignored it. And like then I asked my solicitor like, what can I do next? And she was like, they're going to win on legal fees. She was like, the only way you can take them to court.
Yeah, I think that's...
You need 80 to 100 grand.
Yeah, because even to kind of fight your corner, it costs so much money. Man, that's crazy.
So I just had to agree I'll stop selling them. Didn't give them any money. Didn't give them the stock. But
That's good.
yeah.
That's good.
And then I used everything I learned into the new brand.
I mean, you might be pushed into a position, but as long as you kind of hold your own within that, I think that's really, really good.
It's a good story to tell as well.
Yeah, it is. I'm shocked to hear that though. That's mad. That's crazy.
So then I had to start all over again. So I was like, that was a bit hard. I got a bit demotivated.
I mean, but it looks like you bounced back.
Yeah.
Because the way episodes is looking, it looks like super, super strong. Like I said, it's super unique. So kind of where you manufacturing, what's that process? Because it looks very detailed and intricate.
Yeah, so we have like, we buy from a variety of different countries, depending on what product it is. So obviously Asia, Portugal, Turkey. We choose between the two, Italy as well.
Okay.
And that all depends on like the fabric you use. So for example, this one is a more rare fabric, so this one's in Asia.
Okay.
And I've not really seen a brand in the UK do this. I've seen one brand in the US.
The only brand it reminds me of, a brand I used to work with when I used to work in retail, is called By Waleed. I don't know if you heard of it.
Not heard of it.
It's this guy who takes like a lot of craft material and kind of stitches it together.
Oh, reworks it,
Yeah, he reworks it, but he does like really nice collections. But it's just super unique. I haven't like seen. That's the only thing I can remember off the top of my head that's kind of like this.
I appreciate that.
So which episode are you on now?
This is episode 3. So this guy was a school teacher from Leeds. He's like a typewriter.
Yeah.
He basically does. He basically got a typewriter in lockdown, and then he basically writes out every single lyric on the album cover, and then makes the album. Like so, for example, like this was every single. The thread couldn't pick it up on this, but on the t-shirts you can see it.
Okay.
It's every single lyric of Frank Ocean's album makes this.
People are doing some mad stuff.
Yeah, so we turn it into
when
clothes.
they've got time on their hands.
Yeah.
People can do some like really amazing bits. Well, that's super, super interested. What's kind of the next steps you think with episodes?
I think just the good thing about it is we can kind of go into any niche in fashion, because obviously each designer can be for whoever around the world.
Yeah.
So we just find someone talented, give them a brief, and then we can go like in whatever stages. We try and keep it kind of like a mix of streetwear and kind of like workwear, because we kind of want it to be pieces where in the future, if you find it in a vintage shop, it'll still be the same quality and you can still wear it.
Okay, so I can see that vintage inspiration
Yeah.
coming through. Super, super cool. How would you describe it in 3 words?
3 words. Art meets fashion, I'd say.
Art meets. I feel like you prepared that because you got that spot on. Like literally 3 words, yeah, and that kind of encapsulate it. Advice-wise, because I know it's not easy. One, starting a brand and then running a brand. So what would your advice be to people that have it in their head at the moment but haven't quite kind of, made that leap?
I think you got to have like a showcase, like you got to do something different first. I think that's one thing. You can't just expect people with a simple logo. It's a lot harder now for a clothing brand. You got to have like a story behind your brand. For example, like Clint's their marketing.
Yeah.
They show it like empowers black people. Like it's such a good way for marketing, and it helps with their designs. And I think as well is you shouldn't rush it. I think a lot of people just assume like, oh, I can just make a t-shirt and it's going to sell.
Success.
Yeah, success.
No,
And you just got to learn to utilize social media, because like TikTok nowadays, you can use organic to help sell so many items.
Yeah, super powerful tool. Okay, I think we're going to kind of take a little dive into episodes and put some stuff on the screen for the viewers to see. All right, guys, welcome back. We spoke about Leeds a lot before. It's interesting that you went to uni there and I'm from there. But I want to get your take on kind of other cities and other countries. So what's the most fashion-forward country you've been to?
I've been to probably say America, to be fair.
Okay.
I don't think it's the most fashion forward out of all the countries, but obviously the ones that I've actually been to, I'd say America.
Whereabouts city-wise?
New York.
New York.
The style there, yeah.
You think?
I felt like I wasn't even fashionable when I was there.
Really? You?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What was kind of a piece that you saw or kind of outfit or look?
It was when I went to film at New York Fashion Week, so I met some of the people there, and I did a whole YouTube video on what people are wearing at Fashion Week. And
How did that happen?
I did a year abroad in America.
Really?
Yeah, like
Okay.
I studied the year abroad in Philadelphia.
Nice. All right. So get a bit of a influence from America for kind of your style, or?
I'd say yeah, definitely a lot. I'd say my style, quite a lot of it is like kind of influenced by like 90s rap, 100%. Like
Okay.
the big leather jackets, baggy jeans.
So where's the chain?
I've got chains to be there.
I'll bring them out. Okay, interesting. So America. What about Europe? Kind of. What do you think city-wise? Who's really doing it?
City-wise, obviously London, because it's got a mixture of all cultures and everything like that.
Yeah.
I think I like the Scandinavian countries. Like they do it really like minimal. They care about like the way it fits and then like the different textures in the pieces.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
feel
like-
like they really look at like the quality of things. As
Yeah,
well.
quality. Yeah.
Whereas some other countries are willing to compromise maybe a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Scandies, they do it well. Obviously we're in Manchester now. You
Mhm.
mentioned London. So kind of who's winning at the moment?
You've always got to say. I mean, I should back my city, Manchester, but London easily. Like,
Really?
yeah, I feel because London has so many different styles there. I feel like Manchester, I'd say it's kind of only a couple of styles. I'd say it's getting bigger as the city's growing. A lot more people come in, but I'd still say when you go to London, you see way more fashionable people. I feel like if I came into around Manchester and was filming like what people are wearing in Manchester, I'd find it a lot harder just to find more people to go up to and
Yeah.
say, "Can you showcase your fit?"
Okay.
It's getting there though.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
That's really interesting because obviously I live down south at the moment and everybody's kind of talking about Manchester. But it's interesting you're in Manchester and you think the opposite.
Yeah, I just think I feel like people up north aren't as experimental as people down south.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like up north, yeah, people care what the people think a lot more.
Really?
So they're a bit, they don't go as like experimental with their fashion. Whereas I feel like down south, people are just kind of like, is what it is.
That's interesting. That's really, really interesting. Manchester, what do you think the top locations are to shop in?
Northern Quarter, easily.
Okay.
Easily.
So what's about Northern? What's here? What are the main stores?
So you've got all the fashion stores. You've got like Affleck's Palace, which has like, you can get jewellery, vintage clothing, streetwear, mixture of everything. And you've obviously got Gone Fishing Vintage. You've got Carhartt.
Yeah.
Basically, this whole area is like got the good coffee shops. It's kind of like kind of like Shoreditch or Camden kind of thing.
Okay. I can
Like street
envisage.
graffiti, nice street food, that kind of more my style.
Okay. A bit more kind of urban.
Mm-hmm.
More what's Northern Quarter?
Northern Quarter, yeah.
Okay, I might have to check it out if I got time.
It's round here, to be fair.
Really?
Yeah, it's only 5 minutes down there.
I don't even know if I've got enough money in the kitty, to be honest. It's January, times are hard. So I
take you
might
shop-
avoid it. Okay, we're going to play a little game, basically. It's called Rate the Style.
Yeah.
Super simple.
Mhm.
You just have to rate people's style. We've got, I think, 5 or 6 guys choosing it at random. So the first one is, it's a guy that was quite famous this weekend.
KSI.
KSI, the man himself.
For me personally, I think I mean, that outfit, I think, is shocking.
It's a bit.
I mean, I reckon he did it because he knew, because the prime drink was there, he knew people would use that photo and repost it, so he did it as a marketing strategy, I reckon.
Doesn't really, it's not giving me prime, though.
It's not it's just the purple gloves.
Yeah. So
I think, to be fair, if he was just wearing the blazer and the thing, I think fair enough, but it was just the purple gloves throwing it off.
what are we saying out of 10 then?
I'm gonna give that a 4.
A 4.
4. Pants are too tight.
Sorry, KSI. Yeah, the pants are a little bit tight. All right, moving on. Controversial
one. But I think he rocks it, Harry Styles. So
okay.
I'm going to say, because he does it with confidence, so he makes it look good. So I'm going to say an 8 out of 10. I think his proportions are good as well.
Yeah. I mean, everything fits him really, really well. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Not for me, but fair play.
But you can still respect it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, Mr. OVO.
Mr. OVO. I feel like he has some good fits. He's never too experimental. He just keeps it nice and pretty clean. Like, loves his sneakers.
He switches things up a lot.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing.
I'd say for this one, I'd say I could see myself wearing that. So I give it 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Not too bad from Drake.
It's not too flashy, which I quite like. Even though he's that fit, he hasn't gone too flashy.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that much jewelry on half the time. He kind of needs to tone down the outfits. Just to balance stuff, right? Crazy guy. All right. Controversial one, throwback. I know you like vintage.
Old school. Is that an all-in-one? Or is that Becks? I mean, as a duo, as the fit, it looks good, but it's just... There's no tech. It just looks... It looks like a gimp suit, to be honest.
It looks like a gimp suit.
So I'll have to say a 4 on that.
Oof. Sorry, David and
Bex.
Victoria.
But at the time, though, it probably would have been good.
Right, I think I've got one more. Quite an icon.
Pharrell, yeah. He's one of the most best dressed rappers.
He seems like very up your street in terms of the style.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because you don't know what could be vintage and what's fresh out of the box with him.
Yeah, I'd give that a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
The layering's amazing. It fits him, and he's rocking it with confidence, which is another thing.
Yeah, everything he does is like just natural aura about him, I feel.
And he looks so young still. What's his skincare routine?
Yeah, he's apparently now he's got his own skincare brand, so he's really encapsulating kind of that ageless vibes. But yeah, I think he's right up your street. Who else kind of influences you in terms of fashion?
I know it's a controversial one, but I'd say obviously in the past Kanye West. I had the whole obviously Yeezy era, the long line tees and stuff like that. But nowadays, I'd say there's not a specific person. I'd say obviously a lot of like fashion pages, like, you know, they repost like a load of people's different fits. It's kind of like a curated selection, so you get inspiration from different people. Yeah. But one person I absolutely love, I'm an Arsenal fan too, is Bellerin, Hector Bellerin, best dressed footballer.
Oh,
easily.
Hector. Yeah. He did a campaign for Burberry, right?
Yeah, Burberry.
Yeah.
Walked for Louis Vuitton.
I feel like he was one of the first ones that really like stepped out.
Yeah.
Because I feel like now there's a few more guys like Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
And Tom Davies.
Tom Davies, yeah.
But I think Bellerin was the first one to kind of like, you know what, I can do what I want with style. Yeah, he's really, really cool. Going back to Yeezys, obviously Adidas are going to release the next kind of, I don't even know what to call it, next round of Yeezys. Cop or not?
Nah, I think it's just, I mean, they just oversaturated it.
Yeah.
Some of the old ones, I've kept some of the old ones because they're iconic. But I feel like since he left, it's kind of just gone downhill. I know he wanted everyone to wear Yeezys, which I do respect, but I think it kind of killed the market for the shoe.
Really?
Yeah, I think you need to have scarcity in any brand to make it
That
hype
is
around
true.
it.
Do you think everybody?
That's why Cortez does so good.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true because they do fully limited stuff.
Yeah, drops. Yeah.
So, do you think everybody will have that kind of thought towards the new Yeezys, or?
I think the younger kids will still love it, and obviously the people who are core fans of Yeezy will still. But I feel like it's definitely dropping off. Like some of them, you can't obviously used to be able to resell Yeezys and make so much money. Nowadays, you probably struggle to sell it for retail.
Yeah, you probably make a loss, right? With all the fees and stuff involved. Yeah. It's crazy how things can go. You never know, really. So you're a football fan.
Football fan.
Obviously, fashion football now is like hand in hand, right? So kind of who do you think's really doing it in terms of ballers? Obviously, you mentioned Bellerin.
Obviously, Calvert-Lewin, Tom Davies.
Yeah. Pogba.
Oh nah, you know
really?
What? I rate his confidence in it, but I feel like is just buying expensive pieces and colour and like just warping them all together. A lot of football players just like big Gucci logo, monogram. Yeah. They don't put it together as a fit. So
okay. And
there's
then
Frimpong in Germany. He's got a good.
Jeremy Frimpong.
Yeah, he's got good style.
A lot of the German guys.
Yeah.
Low key. One guy I've noticed who I didn't realize, Joachim Andersen.
Really?
Yeah. If you see his fits, like he takes it seriously. Yeah. He's super, super cool. In terms of hair, because obviously footballers, style and hair is kind of the number one thing in football. Who do you think's up there in terms of the hairstyle footballers?
Ooh, that's actually a good question. On paper, who's got the best hair? Gone blank on that one.
I mean, Arsenal have got a few boys with some decent trims. Ben White.
Ben, right, if he didn't have the tan, yeah, but
It's too tanned.
His trim's decent. To be fair, it's decent.
I've seen him on social. He's gone to get a trim, and then he takes the hairdryer off the barber and styles it himself.
So
he's like super serious about it. Yeah,
to use the powder to get the texture.
He might do. I don't know. he doesn't work for us yet, but he might in the future. You never know. But Ben White, I think, is a top one. Liverpool, Harvey Elliott.
Oh yeah, he's got a clean trim.
He's got a nice trim.
Not
and
Trent though. Even Van Dijk though, he's got a clean.
Virgil's trim is like, I don't know how do you kind of describe that? Yeah. I always wonder when he kind of lets it down.
What does it look like?
What does that look like?
Yeah.
Haaland, what are you saying?
Nah, not for me.
Nah,
Haaland doesn't do it right. He should have short hair.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the pictures when he did. He looks alright, but now it's just like.
Yeah, I don't think it's suiting his face structure.
Yeah, and his overall body is just a bit like looks odd. Grealish.
See, people love it. I feel like without the headband though, it just looks. I feel like it's cut too high.
You think?
Yeah.
But it's quite individual.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it just kind of enough's enough?
It was like when when Aguero had it, like the line there, it was way too high up. I feel like.
Yeah. No, I feel you with that. Foden.
I rate his tram lines, but it suits him to be fair. Suits him. That is a proper managed trim. That is a managed.
But I think the all-time number one has probably got to be David Beckham, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, amount
of different hairstyles and him suiting them all.
Yeah. I think Bex has to go down as the number one of all time in terms of footballer hairstyles. So what do you think about kind of the fashion world and the hair world? Because obviously your hair is kind of part of your overall look, isn't it?
Yeah, I personally think so. I think if you show confidence in your hair and actually take care of it, it helps an outfit. Like it shows, I think, confidence in a person, which I think is a huge thing in fashion. Like if you confidently wear an outfit, you could be wearing like the cheapest outfit, but if you rock it with confidence, I feel like you can instantly make it look better. And I feel like when you've got a good hairstyle too, it kind of matches your whole aesthetic.
Yeah, it makes things flow.
Yeah.
Do you see any kind of trends creeping in terms of fashion and hairstyles?
Obviously, there was the mullet phase.
Yeah.
I think that's slightly going off now. I think more like people, have you seen a lot of people that dyeing their hair and putting artwork within their hair?
Hair tattoos.
Yeah, hair tattoos, basically. I think that's a huge thing now. And like people matching their hair colour to their outfits.
I think it's a really good one as well, hair tattoos, because you can really switch it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously it kind of lasts about maybe like 2 weeks. Yeah. Do something different. I've seen some proper wild ones in America because they take it a bit more seriously. Funny enough, the biggest guy that influenced it was Dennis Rodman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he's been kicking it about for years.
The flame head one was just insane.
Yeah. All of his have been insane.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I think that's why they call him Rodzilla, because he had made you look like Godzilla. But I think that is a really, really big trend that we're going to see a bit more of in the UK.
Yeah, I wish I could suit it.
Do you not think you pull it off?
Mate, I've had a grade 2 all over before, and it's not it.
The head shape.
The head shape. Look like a Thai monk, mate. That's what.
It's not the one.
Not the one.
So what do you use in terms of your hair?
I use the powder for texture.
Okay.
A clay, and then I use like a texturing brush. Depends on the style usually, but I try and make it not look so it's like you got too much product in it, and obviously you can still play with it out of the day.
Okay. Yeah. So you prefer to look a bit more undone?
A bit more undone, yeah. No hairspray. I don't like it being like stuck on.
You just want to kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, go with the flow, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of following that way. Mm-hmm. I call it like the rough and ready.
Yeah, the rough and ready. Yeah, I prefer that.
I think it blends in just today a little bit more because everything's a bit less formal, right?
And I think that powder's just such a good product because I don't even know how it works, to be fair. You just put it in your hair and then it just suddenly gets thicker, more texture.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. So you get a bit of volume, a bit of texture. It kind of binds to the hair fibres to give you a bit more kind of thickness, let's say. And then ours is specially formulated from our own manufacturer in the UK, so the quality-wise.
Oh, in the UK as well?
Yeah. It's actually made in the UK. All of our products are made in the UK. So obviously, British is best. In terms of quality-wise hair products, I think definitely British is respectable. Best. Do you see any kind of trends in hair in Manchester? I know it was a skin fade thing.
Yeah, it was there was skin fade and mullet was definitely the main thing for a while. I say definitely the folding trim ever since that That's
Oh, really?
that's like a bit huge one. Just the straight short fringe, like a French crop basically.
Yeah.
That's a huge one, I'd say.
Okay. And it more kind of short than long up in Manchester, or?
Short and long, but there are quite a lot of long hair because obviously the music culture here
Yeah.
has all different types of scenes. So I say you actually do surprisingly see a lot of long hair.
Yeah, because saying that, I think makes me think of like Oasis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their hair is just like completely different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, no
You do see a lot
colour
of that.
and
You see a lot,
Really?
the long sideburns. Yeah.
People still rocking
There's a shop.
that.
There's a shop round the corner, another vintage one, Bionic 7. They're all like Gallagher style, like Sambas,
Sambas were
Fred
a one.
Perry Polars.
Yeah. He had his own brand. One of them had their own brand, right? Pretty Green.
Yeah, Pretty Green.
Yeah,
Oh, that was one of their. I didn't realise.
Yeah. It was one of their. I don't know if it's still knocking around.
Yeah,
It was quite big, like probably like 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a different kind of trend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Different kind of brand. Advice-wise, then, obviously you're big on style. You've got your own unique kind of flavor with things. What would you give people advice-wise if they wanted to be a bit more confident? Because you mentioned confidence is key.
I think always just trying something new, trying like different cuts, different sizing, and then just build the outfit around that piece. So like start out with, I don't know, maybe like a new sweatshirt or a new hoodie, and just, I think as well, like learning to not care what other people think. I think a lot of people these days.
That's hard though.
It's hard.
It's really, really hard.
But I mean, if you got your close circle, they'd be honest with you. If they think you look stupid, then take it to constructive criticism. But other people who you don't actually like, they're not your close mates, then you shouldn't worry about it.
Because I'll lay it all bare. Like, I've got a problem now.
You got a problem now?
The biggest problem for me is trousers.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of a sudden, trousers like changed.
Yeah.
Like, I was used to kind of, like Amiri jean.
Yeah.
Like kind of more tapered
yeah.
slim denim. Now it's like everything's like wide leg, relaxed. So what would you say to me in terms of what should I be buying, what should I be trying?
Like you should go not. I know what you mean. It's completely changed. It's gone from skinny pants,
Yeah, it's like that.
to baggy pants, and then it's gone from skinny tops to baggy tops. Yeah, I'd say go for like a straight leg then. So like between the two, so not baggy yet, and then straight leg, and then you can see which shoes you think fit perfectly with that. And I think proportions is a huge thing that people should learn. Yeah. I think in fashion, I think you should get an outfit which like accentuates your body features. Yeah.
Okay. So go step by step, pretty much.
Yeah.
Not just jumping at the
Yeah, not just
end.
jumping. Yeah.
That makes sense, to be honest. I don't know why I didn't think of that myself. But yeah, I appreciate that.
No worries, man.
What about kind of dressing on a budget? What advice would you give?
Yeah, charity shops, vintage shops, and then obviously like Depop, Vinted, eBay. I'd say you can easily make fits for like less than £50.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. 50 quid.
Yeah. And like even them kilo sales as well, they're so good.
You can't get anything for 50 quid these days. Literally. But
yeah.
eBay.
I've done videos like outfits for less than £100, including the shoes as well.
Okay.
Full outfits.
Guys, check out the YouTube channel. For dressing on a budget. All right. Next one. Advice for men, how to dress and attract a potential suitor. So perhaps, someone they fancy, what would you say to attract?
I'd say that once again, the same thing about accentuate your body features. So if you go to the gym, wear more of like a kind of tighter, well-fitted top. Nothing too tight, not like the spray on, like the V-neck, All Saints one. Nothing like that. Maybe just go for something like monochrome then. So like accessories. I think accessories is a good thing. So like rings, chains. It's just an easy way to like look more fashionable and it being like a little bit inexpensive. Okay. So you could just wear literally just simply all black. I think that's the best silhouette that looks good on anyone, all black. And then just add some
accessories. I'd never even thought about that actually.
Like a bag, sunglasses.
Because that kind of makes you look a little bit different. Almost.
Yeah, it looks like you've put thought into your outfit straight away.
And then you'll almost stand out, right?
Yeah.
That's good. That's a very good tip. I'm impressed with that, actually. All right, so looking towards the future. Obviously, we've got episodes. Mm-hmm. Have you got anything else in the pipeline that you're working on?
So the vintage company is still the main one. So we just recently got signed off a new warehouse. Okay. So 2,000 square foot warehouse. So we're trying to grow that massive.
So payday vintage.
Payday vintage. We're going to try and start doing like, have you seen vintage mystery boxes people do?
Yes, I have.
So I feel like that's quite a good way. I feel like, because the hardest part of vintage is like to keep listing the clothes because every single piece is different, so it takes a lot of work power. So mystery boxes is a huge thing, I think.
Combine together. Okay.
And then I actually want to start doing, as you say, more podcasts and I want to get into kind of TV presenting as well.
Really?
I'd love to do like more public videos, like interviewing people.
So what's the motivation behind that?
I think I enjoy most is like interacting and meeting new people like yourself. I think it's
Okay.
such a good way to learn, and you open up so many opportunities when you meet new people.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially in the world nowadays, a lot of people were just stuck on our phones. We're like the least social society nowadays.
Yeah.
Like kids don't even go out anymore; they just play on the Xbox and stuff. So I think it'd be a good way just to meet so many different people.
Okay. Interesting one. And then in terms of looking at Payday Vintage, what's the mainstream you're growing that? Are you going to stay, online? Are you going to open that warehouse up to people, or?
So we're debating getting a shop eventually. Obviously, the problem is just the costs of having the workers in. So I think what we'll do is probably do like a warehouse sale every month, so then people can come through.
Okay.
Obviously, we offer like free drinks and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
so it creates more of a community as well.
It's a good idea. In terms of what's the top brands that you sell at the moment?
Vintage Nike, that's just like easily the best now. And then Carhartt and Dickies trousers, they're just because they're just so high quality.
Yeah.
They age really well, even if they have a bit of dirt on them. People still like that.
Okay. And anything that you can give advice-wise to other people that might maybe want to get started in content creation or in vintage? What would you say?
I'd say if you're just thinking about doing it, I think just go for it. It's better to just start now than like try and be like a perfectionist. So there's like a story which I think it's like two students, and they had 30 days to take the best photo. So one was a really talented photographer, the other one was just like a beginner. He took a photo every single day for 30 days and kept like asking for feedback from his teacher, whereas the other guy just submitted one photo because he thought it was the best. And that kid obviously started out pretty bad, but by the end of the 30 days he was the best. So consistency always works.
Interesting. That's like very philosophical way to look at things.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, super. That's all we've got time for today, actually. You want to let people know where to follow you?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Dom Hadley. My YouTube channel is called Payday Pickups. The vintage company is called Payday Vintage. The clothing brand's called Episodes Project. And then the jewelry brand is called Ariri.
Okay, we'll link all those below because that's hard to remember. And then also, super excited to announce our new t-shirts are now available online. So we've got the Barber All-Star made exclusively for Barbers, and then the Slick Gorilla World Tour, which kind of features all of our main cities globally that Slick Gorilla's active in. So check out slickgorilla.co.uk for those guys. Thank you very much, Dom. We'll definitely be doing stuff in the future.
100%. Thank you for having me on.
Any comments, guys, just put them below, and we'll see you on the next one.